Avengers 4 is the finale of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, although that doesn't mean it's the end. In the recent Vanity Fair cover story on Kevin Feige and the Marvel Cinematic Universe's continued dominance of the superhero genre, the super producer reaffirmed that the 2019 Phase 3 capper would be the end of the MCU as we know it. However, almost in the same breath, he reiterated that his statement didn't mean Marvel Studios was just going to shut up shop, saying the studio is already working on the next 20 films that come next and promising they are completely different from anything that's come before. Intentionally, 20 is a big number, more than the current back catalog. Thor: Ragnarok was the 17th release, but at the rate the MCU is going it isn't too surprising. Indeed, it's definitely worth noting how this lines up with the long-stated MCU roadmap. Back in 2014, Feige said they had projects in mind up to 2028, which based on the then standardized release schedule of 2 films a year would have had around 20 movies between 2019, the end of Phase 3, and the end date. Of course, a lot has changed in the MCU since then, with the addition of Spider-Man, loss of Inhumans and increased prominence of Guardians of the Galaxy, but it would seem, a few adjustments aside, things are going pretty much to that plan. Assuming Marvel are keeping to the 3 releases a year they started in 2017, 20 post-Avengers 4 films takes them through to 2025. Certainly a long way off, but more than believable. But what will those films be? Completely different could mean a total change in approach, but more realistically simply that they are evolving the Marvel style, with more freewheeling crossovers and genre tones. Indeed, Feige said something similar about the latest releases, which still fit the MCU mold. Whatever they are, it's been stated over and over that the titles won't be announced until after the epic culmination. Based on what we know, though, here's how we think it will go down. Confirmed movies. There was never any reason to suspect the MCU would end with Avengers 4 considering 2 films are already confirmed to be coming after. First is a second Spider-Man film, set for July 2019, just a couple of months after Infinity War. Little is known about the project beyond Tom Holland returning, and it's likely only slated because this is a Sony-Marvel co-production, so can't be as easily hidden as other releases. The other film is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, with James Gunn returning to write and direct. This is going to release in 2020 at some point, but no official date has been given. Speaking of 2020, there are 3 dates in the year currently taken by unnamed MCU films: May 1st, August 7th and November 7th. Guardians is probably going to take the May slot seeing as how it's now a banner franchise, but the other 2 are up in the air. Given how Marvel's been secretive though, they're probably going to be some of these easy guessable entries, all but guaranteed movies. These films aren't confirmed, but due to what's been said by filmmakers and expected from characters via story and actor contracts, they feel like safe bets. First is Doctor Strange 2. Set up by the first film's post-credits scene and part of Benedict Cumberbatch's understood deal. Scott Derrickson's initial outing was a more modest MCU debut than some, but nevertheless did a solid job of selling the magical character whose stock will shoot up after joining the Avengers. Also, with Tom Holland still having 1 film on his initial deal after Spider-Man 2, and all involved have talked about wanting, at least, a high school trilogy. A Spider-Man 3 feels like a foregone conclusion. Expected sequels. On top of those films, there are several further out sequels that, based on Marvel precedent, we can expect in the coming years. Both Phase 3 debutantes are sure to warrant further outings, so Black Panther 2 and Captain Marvel 2, and given how the rule of thumb for standalones has been trilogies, no character has broken that. Thus far, we can add Doctor Strange 3 and Ant-Man 3, the Wasp 2 to the docket. It also seems rational that we'd also get threequels for Captain Marvel and Black Panther, although those productions would be considerably further out and thus open to changes in the Marvel style. Assuming at least a 2-year gap, these would arrive in 2022 and 2023 at the earliest, by which point the type of movie and existence of solo outings may have shifted. Still, they're a fair bet, in some form. Avengers-style movies. Now, a clarification. When we've discussed standalone sequels, it's not being the expectation just these characters will appear. Both Captain America 3 and Thor 3 were team-ups, and with Iron Man and Spider-Man Homecoming and Nick Fury in Captain Marvel, that's feeling like a growing aspect of the MCU. So while we say solo films, they're sure to have a bigger universe or character imprint. That said, you can't not have Avengers movies. The expansion of the shared universe may mean some of their novelty has worn off, as the Infinity War trailer proves. We're well past just having two disparate characters sharing the screen, but they're still mega-hyped franchise linchpins that eclipse everything else. Whether Avengers 5 or 6 are in any recognizable form is up for debate. There's plenty of team permutations to be had, from New Avengers to the Illuminati, but what isn't that we'll get more of these group-style films along with the more common crossovers. That's at least two more to the docket.